All right, this screencast goes along with the two videos that showed you the reaction of zinc metal and hydrochloric acid. So in the observations section, kind of divide it and give me a description of what you saw before. And you may have done this before you actually watched the video or as you followed along, and that's fine. Before the reaction, zinc was kind of a silvery gray metal, solid, and hydrochloric acid, I'm just going to abbreviate it, HCl, was a clear liquid. Okay. When the two were allowed to react, we saw several things. Number one, the reaction bubbled, and we did a splint test, and the splint test popped, which indicated that hydrogen gas was present. So, and hydrogen gas has a little subscript of 2. So hydrogen gas. Number 2, we had a color change from kind of a silverish to kind of a dark grayish black. And then number 3 is we had a temperature change, and the temperature went up. So I'm just going to put temperature, and then I'm going to draw an up arrow to indicate that the temperature increased. Okay. All right. So those are our 3 observations. And now we need to talk about the balanced chemical equation. So our 2 reactants were zinc metal and hydrochloric acid. Those 2 were put in a test tube and allowed to react. We know that one of the products was hydrogen gas because that's what was given off and that caused our splint to pop. The other product was that blackish, crusty stuff on the surface, which was zinc chloride. Okay? Now, let's see about balancing it. I have 1 zinc atom on the reactant side. Okay, why don't you go ahead and put a bracket. And you know what? I'll draw that bracket in red. Red for reactants. So why don't you do that too? Okay. So I have 1 zinc on the reactant side, and I have 1 zinc on the product side. We're going to say purple for products, so bracket your products in purple. So zinc is okay. I have 1 of each. Hydrogen, however, I have 1 on the reactant side, but I have 2 on the product side. The only way that I can add more hydrogen to the reactant side is by adding entire molecules that contain hydrogen. So I'm going to add another molecule of hydrochloric acid. Okay. So now I have zinc, I have 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid, 1 molecule of hydrogen gas, which has 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 molecule of zinc chloride, which has 1 zinc and 2 chlorines. Now, when you see a chemical equation, you don't list the chemical formulas over and over and over again if you have multiple ones. So instead of us writing it down twice, we're going to erase that second one, and we're going to put a coefficient of 2 instead. And the 2 indicates that we have 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid. Okay? So there is your balanced chemical equation for the reaction of zinc and hydrochloric acid. Okay? And that should be about it for anybody who has missed that particular lab experiment. There's the whole thing. You had bubbles, you had a color change, you had a temperature rise, and then you had the balanced chemical equation down at the bottom.